Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you for this deluxe edition review this evening for Green Day's Saviors Edition Deluxe review that I wanted to return to you guys for to let you know what I thought of this basic deluxe edition. So I'm going to discuss from tracks 16 to 25 what I thought of them and let you know my thoughts on the songs that I added extra with the 22 tracks technically, which is part of the deluxe edition. But let's dive into this deluxe edition of what I heard in its entirety. Starts with Smash It Like Belushi, the 16th song on the record from the deluxe edition. Pretty solid track, not my favorite, but not the worst. So I'd give it a 4.75 out of 5. Billy Joe Armstrong's singing potential is pretty solid in its own way. So, and overall, the drumming and guitar work is pretty good in it, but it wasn't one of my favorite singles to announce this record for the deluxe edition, but it's overall solid. 4.75 out of 5. Then comes Stay Young, which is another solid one too. I'd give it a 4.75 out of 5. It is 4 minutes and 10 seconds of a track. It doesn't do too bad for how it sounds. Billy Joe's Armstrong singing is pretty solid for the most part, but it's not like one of my favorite tracks because the melody kind of is an alright melody, but it's, like I said, not one of my favorite songs. But still a pretty good song in its own way, but will bring the rating down a little bit. 4.75 out of 5. Fuck Off is one of the songs. This one was a pretty strong track for how it sounds for 2 minutes, but it overall executed pretty well. The drumming, guitar work, and overall Billy Joe Armstrong singing was pretty strong. The lyrics are kind of in your face for sure, and basically tell someone to F off. So that's kind of how it is. It kind of tells it like it is, this track. So 5 out of 5. Ballyhoo is a very strong track for sure. I really enjoyed this track. It was the second single for the announcement of the deluxe edition, but it overall did fairly well for how it sounded. 5 out of 5. Susie Chapstick Acoustic is another strong acoustic track. The original track was still pretty good, but overall the acoustic version of it is a nice one for sure. I like the acoustic guitar in this, and Billy Joe Armstrong singing is fairly solid. 5 out of 5. Father to a Son acoustic is another strong one. The original track was pretty strong. The acoustic version is very strong too. I really like this acoustic version. Sounds very nice, and overall Billy Joe Armstrong singing potential is fairly good. So, really enjoyed this. 5 out of 5. Underdog is technically the last song for the deluxe edition, but I'm adding 3 extra tracks to give you guys a take on what I thought of those. But overall, Underdog's fairly strong for 2 minutes and some seconds, but overall executed fairly well. So 5 out of 5. Sorry, that's my dog right over there. I don't know if she's going to be barking or not, but if she does, I'll have to pause the video. But 5 out of 5 for Underdog. Fever is a fairly solid track, not one of my favorites, but it's good in its own way. I think the mixing and production in this was just in its own way. It's not the worst thing I've heard, but it's not the best thing I've heard. So the melody kind of has a weird production sound that I'm not sure if I like with the mixing along with it. So 4.5 out of 5. Fuck Off. Fiddler Art Mix is a fairly solid one. I still enjoy the original song for it. The Art Mix version to it, the remix version, not one of the best, but still pretty good in its own way. But I have a few critiques with this track. with its mixing and production, so 4.75 out of 5. And finally, One Eyed Bastard, live in Amsterdam, is a fairly solid one too, so I'd give it a 4.75 out of 5. Billy Joe Armstrong singing live was not too bad, but I had my critiques with how it sounded from time to time, so still fairly solid track in its own way. It's pretty good in its own way, just have a little bit of critiques with this track. Overall, production, mixing, and execution wise, I think Green Day Saviors Edition Deluxe for this review was a pretty good listen. Granted, I think they shouldn't have waited a year and 4 months to drop this release, because that's kind of taking their sweet time releasing this album. But at least the album's not terrible for the whole entirety of 25 songs, if you include 2 extra tracks along with Fever. But overall, pretty solid deluxe edition in its own way. The original album was still pretty good. This deluxe edition version is still pretty strong for the 8-9 songs I've listened to that are for this deluxe edition. So if I were to give Saviors Edition Deluxe a score by Green Day, I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. Still a pretty good listen. I still enjoyed the regular edition, and this deluxe edition was still fairly strong. I heard it earlier today, but I still enjoyed it for how it sounded. So 8.5 out of 10 for Green Day Saviors Edition Deluxe. I hope you enjoyed this deluxe edition review. I'll have more reviews coming out as soon as I can, but until then, you guys take care, and thanks for watching.